this next thing here isn't really VTuber related, but it does, in my opinion, relate to us because we have a lot of experience in it, and that is Pow World. So Nintendo has sued Pow World, and over the last kind of like 24 hours, we're figuring out that what has happened is there was a patent infringement from Nintendo that was filed against them. Now, this is the part where I'm going to say I'm not a lawyer and I do not understand what the actual issue is here. I've looked over it because I'm not a lawyer. I don't understand it completely. I have been told that they are suing because of game mechanics that exist in Power World that, not Nintendo, but the Pokemon company says that they are infringing upon.
No, Nintendo's suing.
Isn't Nintendo? I thought it was the Pokemon company that was doing it.
It's posted on Nintendo's site.
I see. Okay, fair enough. But the short and skinny of it is, chat, Nintendo is suing Pocketpair, the owners of Pow World, over copyright infringement in Tokyo. Patent infringement, thank you. In Tokyo. Now, if you guys don't know, copyright law in Japan, very notoriously strict. Like, when you think of copyright law, in America, it really just depends. Fair use is something that is very widely thrown around here. But in Japan, fair use doesn't really exist, period. Like, recently, and I know Lumi is probably upset about this, there was a Berserk fan creation that was being worked on, and it got canceled because the owners of Berserk was like, we don't want you to do this anymore.
Yep.
So...
We can't have shit in this house.
So...
Can't have shit in Detroit.
So, like, all this to say that Japan is very anal about their copyright. And you know what? Their country, their laws, I'm not going to tell them how to run it, even though I think that it is dumb that they're as harsh as they are on copyright, but, you know, it's whatever. So, it is my understanding that they are filing this infringement lawsuit over some very specific mechanics that have taken place in the game. Some people are spinning around... some people in the chat are spinning around what those are. Some people are saying Pokeball mechanics, which is... If it is about Pokeball mechanics, I think that is dumb.
People are assuming it's Pokeball mechanics because there's very little else that could actually be applied that they have a patent for.
Very fair. I've also, like, read that the things that they are trying to sue for are things that they filed for patents after Power World was a released game.
Yep.
There's a couple things like that, yeah.
Yeah. So, I am not too familiar with this. However, I just think it's interesting. You obviously have a lot of Nintendo fanboys that are very happy about this. They think that Pocketpair needs to be raked over the coals and torn asunder of all of the money that they have made from Power World because Power World dared to go against their Pokemon creation. But I don't really know what to think of this. I think it is kind of like an overreach from Nintendo because, like, if it is something as little as the Pokeballs or just like the idea of catching and breeding monsters, they should have gone after Digimon a long time ago. I don't know. I just find it all really crazy. And yeah, I don't know. I have heard though. I saw a tweet where somebody basically said even if this does go through and Pocketpair is forced to pay, technically nothing could happen. They just might have to pay damages and then life moves on. And the game that, like, some people think that no matter what, the game is still staying up, which is good.
It likely is.
But they will just have to pay basically damages and restitution for this copyright patent infringement. So we'll see. We'll see how that goes. I don't know. What do you two think on that?
I already gave mine, I think.
It's stupid.
It's stupid. Yeah.
It's obviously super dumb, and it's not going to go in their favor.
You don't think so?
I already don't think it's going to go in their favor just in general. However, I also think it's going to end up worse for them in the long run.
Yeah. I agree. I think the problem, and Nintendo is probably the biggest offender for this. When you tend to do this a lot, it just leads to more games like Power World, in my personal opinion. I feel like Power World fulfilled a niche that Nintendo wasn't filling. And why is Nintendo filling it? Because it takes them a million years to make something. And then they put it out at subpar. Like the last Pokemon game. It was alright. It was just okay. Which is very sad for my first Pokemon game, I'll be honest with you. But like, the fact that Nintendo is almost running uncontested with some video game ideas is kind of sad because nobody wants to piss them off. So I do hope that in some way they get pushback for what they do. I don't know. I don't know. Like, there really isn't that much to say about it. It's still developing story chat. And obviously I hope it goes well for them. I hope.
It's definitely something Nintendo should not be suing for, but they're doing it anyways because they kind of suck.
Indeed.